There's hundreds of people out there waiting for us to say our first words. I think it's live now. I'm pretty sure it's live now. So, day 2 at Light+Building. Feet, I'm very sore. I've done a lot of walking around, seen a lot of lights.
It's actually day 3 of the Light+Building.
Oh yeah, because we're here on Sunday, day 2 of broadcasting.
So yesterday we did a series of interviews with some light designers from different countries. We'll carry on doing that today. We have our first guest over here in matching colours, Lisa Ishii. So Lisa, can you just say hello and say where you're from and what you do?
Okay, hello. First of all, my name is Lisa Ishii. I'm a lighting designer. I'm based in Paris, but originally from Tokyo, so I still have some office in Tokyo. First of all, I'd like to say that it's really great to be here, and thank you very much for the invitation. And it's really a cool idea to have this pop-up studio in the fair, because the fair is something that you are kind of just walking and passively looking at the things, but we don't have much occasion to speak about what we've seen. So I think it's a great idea. Thank you so much again.
It was just an excuse so that we could sit down and chat to people.
Yeah, it's nice to have a seat at first.
We were asking people yesterday sort of very specific questions about trends for light building. So over the years you've had sort of maybe that was the show that first introduced LED, or this was the show that. So we were asking people what they thought maybe that this year was bringing, if you have an opinion.
It was, honestly speaking, it was not the most impressive one, I'm afraid, because, but in the sense, in one sense, it's very good, because which means that the technology of LEDs and the controlling this lighting technology became to at the point that it's really matured and is really feasible, and it is expanded to everybody. So it's a kind of a democracy of lighting and lighting technology. I saw 2 things which could inspire me for the future. One is, you may have heard OLED, OLED, OLED.
Yep.
It's a quite interesting technology, because for me it's very complementary to LED, because LED becomes more and more brilliant, it's hard to see, and it's very efficient, but it's not very soft lighting. Besides OLED, it's not very bright.
Yes.
And somebody complained because it's not very efficient or it's not very bright enough. But I think it's very good, because we all need soft light as much as bright light.
Yes.
And I think we can combine LED and OLED and to make something that we haven't been able to do only with LED.
So instead of taking a really bright LED and putting a diffuser in front of it, you start with OLED, and you're already working with a soft light source.
Yes, and I think the lighting diffusion is quite mild, and it's very nice to see, and you can glaze at the light source, which something that we haven't done for last decade. So, but we love to see the moon, we love to see the fire. We are looking at the light source, actually.
Yes.
And sometimes we feel very calm and relaxed feeling with these light sources. So I think that could be a potential interesting light source.
Do you have a favourite ball? Is there one ball you like more than another one?
I would say I quite like the whole one, because it's very inspiring. It's new ideas are there.
Yes.
In terms of design-wise and aesthetically speaking and presentations. It's very, they are very challenging in terms of presentations. It's really nice to see. But besides, it's my another interest is Hall 4, because they have very technical and very startup things with new technology, new ideas. So I quite like to have this 2 halls for my personal pleasure.
Yes.
Of course, professionally speaking, I need to spend days and days in Hall 3 and 5 and 1 and 2 and but.
Are you looking for sort of like specific products for projects, or just looking?
It depends. There are some, for example, last time I think I had 3 specific things that I have to find during this fair. So I was kind of running after those. And this time, just by chance, I don't have any specific things to look for. So I take time to walk around and try to discover something that I haven't seen or those manufacturers that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it's always great to.
And what's the most inspiring thing you've seen? If you have to recommend to me where to go next after this, what should I go and see?
There's another technology that I didn't mention. It was about the laser projector. So we all know the laser is just a straight beam.
Yeah.
But I saw a manufacturer in Hall 4, the famous 4, that. Okay, so it's in 4-1. The manufacturer is called Stanley. It's just in front of the front of the entrance, and they had a little prototype of a laser beam projector. It's not a laser beam like a straight line, but they are using a kind of a lens spreading this laser, and this is a technology coming from automotive.
Yeah. The car.
They're using it for the headlights, and now they're applying it for the architectural lighting. And so the fixture is actually not moving. The fixture is just static.
Yeah.
And the beam moves.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, something.
That sounds good. Yeah.
But it was the first time.
Oh, we need to go back there because we just walked right past that one, didn't we?
We didn't talk about them.
We did. They're Japanese.
They are, yes.
Even though with a name like Stanley, you think, oh, that must be an English company. So
yeah,
it's so
I
Japanese.
think. Yeah, I
isn't
heard
it?
the founder was inspired by the famous explorer Stanley,
Okay.
as a spirit of explorer.
Yeah. I remember they had a really narrow beam, high-powered.
Exactly.
product,
Yeah, they are known for this 2.5.
amazing optics.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
optics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been involved in any? I know you've done some sort of
But yeah, actually, I was working for my my partner Motoko Ishii, my mother. She's also lighting designer, and she is the art director for Stanley and Iwasaki Electric and Sumitomo Chemical, three
Oh,
Japanese
wow.
manufacturers, and they all combined in front of the entrance at hall 4.1. And so Stanley, I had chance to meet them and talk to them about this precise technology. So it was quite an interesting experience for me.
Cool.
Yeah, and also I would like to mention about Sumitomo because they have OLED panels with many beautiful colors. It's like a
Yes.
printing,
Yeah.
inkjet printing that you can choose any color, you can choose any patterns. So
Okay, so
it's
it's as flexible as
very
that.
it's very graphical.
Yeah. Yeah. It looked like a stained glass window a bit there,
It-
Stan, when we walked
yeah,
past. It's very
exactly,
beautiful. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, we'll ask you something not lighting based.
Hmm.
When you've been going around the show, who do you think's got the best snacks, the best food?
The food. Oh my God.
Any good food?
Oh, I'm carrying my sandwich every morning, so I think
Oh,
that's the
well,
best choice.
prepared. Which ones?
It is now. It is now. Oh my! Well, everything Lisa said is fantastic. Oh, we're such amateurs. Okay. All right. No, you're fine. You're
Oh,
fine.
God.
It's fine. Don't
Oh
worry.
gosh.
Everything you've said has been perfect.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so you bring your own food.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. Yeah. Well,
Oops.
because
Olay.
things like this, I don't know.
Besides, I quite like curry sausages. I really feel like being in Germany.
And then sort of another question we've been asking people is what's your top tip? If someone was coming to Light Building for the first time, what would be your top tip?
For the light and building?
Yeah. To, like some people say, you should always wear trainers. Or, what would you advise somebody to do if they were coming for the first time?
Wow, it's it's a difficult question. I would say to wear sneaker, first of all.
Bring your own sandwich.
Yeah, sandwich could be an idea. And start with the whole 3. But limit your time. Otherwise, you can spend 3 days without going out from that hole. So I said, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we finish with one question now that my microphone's working? Okay. What would you say the best thing is about coming to Light?
Sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Okay.
Should we take a break and then come back?
All right. Okay.
All right.
I'll just no, because it's this one we're trying to test. So I'll just keep talking, all on my own, about nothing in particular. My top tip, I like the sandwich one. My top tip would be, when you go onto someone's stand, you don't ask for a stand tour. You say, please show me your top 3 things, or your top 2 things, and then that's it. Yeah. So then I remember them. I can remember them, and then I go to somewhere else. Because if someone shows me 20 products, I lose interest completely. That's my tip. We've actually said to people, whether it's working.
Be careful, all the manufacturers, warning. There's many people coming in, ask for 3 top.
Or one. Are we working? We think we're working. Okay. All right. We're going to apologise because we're very new to this live streaming, so it seems that our microphones weren't working, but luckily Lisa's was, because she said all the clever stuff. So all you missed really was our questions, and what Lisa answered was good. So we're going to just ask Lisa one more question,
Yes.
and that's to sort of sum up. What do you think the best thing is about coming to this show, to Light+Building?
I quite like touching fixtures. I'm very tactile. Tactile.
Yeah.
I need to touch them to see the finishing, the materials, and the I don't know, the thickness and color and yes, quality, and also the heat. Because now it's a big issue. You should touch the fixture, and you can't touch the fixture, and to see how hot it is. So it's like everything about very human touch is. I need to touch them. I need to feel them. I need to feel the light by myself, because seeing the pictures. This is what we do whole year.
Yeah.
On the catalog, on the website, and the people come to show you the products.
This
and
is our chance to see things for real.
Yeah,
For real.
so it's really nice, and many manufacturers talk about the connected lighting and the network and smart lighting, but it's not human-centric, and people say human-centric lighting.
Yeah.
But for me, it's system-centric lighting. All the manufacturer is talking about their own system, their own fixture, their own networking protocol, and they're all system-centric lighting. And manufacturer is talking about their system in the sense of protocol, in the sense of technology, in the sense of the structure, even the politics. It's their theory.
Yeah.
It's not really human-centric.
Yeah.
Human-centric must be something else. We have to go for it. We have to look for it as a lighting designer. I think we have to look beyond what we call today human-centric
Yeah.
lighting.
Or what we're being told is human-centric.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's really interesting because I don't think I've heard anybody yet say that they believe human-centric lighting, that as they're seeing it now, is human-centric lighting. So everybody who's out there, all the manufacturers
Yeah,
out
the
there,
people
talking
all run after it.
human-centric, they need to take a listen, don't they, really?
There was one manufacturer that's got enhanced human-centric
Yeah,
lighting.
yeah.
So even better. Okay, we're going to say thank you to Lisa.
Thank you.
And let her go back to hunting for fittings and come back in a little bit after a break.
I'm going to see if I can get this one to work as well. It looks like it is on my screen, but who
It
knows?
was a great pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Goodbye. Now, hopefully, our microphones are working this time. I'm sure, yeah, Martin Valentine will run over and... Yeah, that's always a good plan. Sharon, have you... Have you put yours on?
I'm on.
Okay, that's good.
They get money for this.
Millions. Like the Italians, yeah. 50 for you, 50 for me, 10 for Kai. They're our friends.
You like the story?
I doubt it.
Speak slowly so I can follow you well.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not English, I'm Italian, as you know.
I'm hoping our new guests behave themselves.
Let's start at this end. Introduce
yourself.
yourself.
So my name is Kai Pipo. I'm head of design for OF Lighting. OF Lighting is a Scandinavian-based company. We hit 102 people now employed. We have 9 offices.
How many people?
102.
102 people.
Yeah. So we are picking up. We have mostly based in Scandinavia, but we have also an office in Switzerland and also in London now.
Wow.
So
you've got exactly 100 people more than our company.
Oh yeah. We're checking out.
And Consuline.
I am Serena. Look me, I am happy.
Hello.
It's happiness.
Yeah.
And I am lighting designer. And I am married with this human elements. A lighting designer too. Come from Milano, Italy.
Yes, I think that Serena have shown everything of us. So she's my light. And I follow her in this lighting design profession.
Italian poets as well, aren't they, really?
Were you first in lighting and you followed into lighting?
She starts first, and I follow her. It's my son.
I am like a stop in the car. And go.
He got in your headlights. Yeah, he was in the headlights and couldn't escape.
So I got the impression you didn't really want to talk about light. That maybe we talk about something else.
We could talk about Volvo and the advert. You recently appeared in a Volvo magazine, Kai?
Oh yeah. They made a feature about the creativity of light from Scandinavia. So I was featured in the magazine, Volvo magazine, and it's nice because it goes out 500,000 copies all around the world. And
did you get a free car?
I'm not allowed to talk about those kind of
those
things.
deals.
No, but we also work with Volvo, but that's also a secret, so I should shut up. But no, it's.
I think it's really good though that you're talking about light in like a car magazine to the public, because we're really good at talking to each other, but we're not very good at getting out and talking to the world.
No, I think what they wanted to do in that specific issue of the Volvo magazine is to look at Nordic design.
Yes.
In different aspects. It was also Nordic cuisine, Nordic design in furniture, in way of living, and also the light is like, from my perspective, light in the Nordics, we have our own light culture with the Nordic light and also the Arctic light, which is like unique, and we have the darkness, and I talk about the creativity, and I think a lot of the creativity comes from because it's so dark. It doesn't come from the light, it comes actually from the darkness.
Dark. In the winter.
Yeah, in the winter, and it can be in the afternoon in the winter. So there is a lot of things happening there with our minds in the Nordics.
Yeah. Where do you think the love for light in Italy comes from? Yeah.
Yes, we live in a place where the sun and the light is fantastic. We have a shock when 20 years ago we meet him and we know him in north of Europe, and he is a follower of dark, and he showed us how to understand the dark and the shadows.
Yeah.
It was really an amazing experience in Alingsås.
Yes.
Was the first time in a road near to the cemetery, working with the trees and the shadows, you discover us a new world of using light, really, and many people follow this way. I want to say a thank to you.
I know exactly the installation you're talking about with the light coming through the trees. Everybody knows that. And isn't it amazing how many of us all met in Alingsås as well in those days? That's where I first met you, the year after, I think. So it's quite remarkable.
I have to tell you another thing that has to do with sharing experiences and sharing knowledge. I met Howard Branston 2 years ago in London, and I have met him since many years, but I just realized just now that how much Howard Branston have meant to me, because I met him '94 in New York, and he had like a guided tour, and I learned two things from Howard Branston that night. Share your knowledge, because he told me certain things that has followed me ever since, and this is so important to actually share your knowledge with everybody. You never know what the outcome will be. I don't remember doing this to you. I mean, this is the first time I hear anything that you know. So, but what he learned me that night, you know, is what we looked at the Statue of Liberty, and he said that we have like this the feeling of this low sun hitting her, you know, on the side, and so what I got from that was, hey, have inspiration from daylight.
Yeah.
Number one, share knowledge, share your inner thoughts regarding, you know, design and thoughts. Number two, and I have done that ever since. And you know, and now just 2 years ago, it's because of what he said one night.
Yeah.
He said 3 sentences, or he had, you know, and it just.
They
so I try to share this with students and everybody in my staff and everything. So thanks to Howard Branston.
Wow.
Franco say that a big truth, you know, follow the nature.
Yes, yes.
Follow the natural light, and all the emotion that's coming out from looking at the nature. And I must say that in the last period of our life and our job, we are trying to follow and to move in the emotion of the people, thanks to the light. And this is, I think, is the most interesting things in our job.
I don't think you need us. I think you could.
I know, we could just record you three having a conversation.
We don't need to ask you questions.
But now you're going to have to.
Oh, no, well, paused.
Yeah.
One of the things we've been asking people is a very non-specific question. What's the best thing about coming to Light+Building? So what's the best thing you get out
I think it's to be in the Ligman stand. You know, it's no. Just.
He always has the right.
I have
answer.
the money now. No, but I think it's. I have a problem with Light+Building because I hardly see any product because I meet people. So that is the number one thing to meet new people. Old and new people, but also to see, you know, the trends. I mean, obviously, I have seen like 5 trends on this fair. Do you want to hear them?
Yes, please.
Okay.
That was our next question, but that's really good.
So it's the quality of the light. Finally, we're there. I would say.
Yes.
Have you seen sunlight? You know.
No, we haven't. Have we seen the poster?
Go there. It's interesting. You know, the quality of the LED is like finally there. So that's okay.
So we don't have to worry about that anymore now.
No, of course we'll have to worry about that. But it's still like, you know, you go out in the light fair, you see the best quality light. Then you go to your hotel and you put your reading light on. It's a compact version. Yeah. You know, it's still like we're living in different worlds.
Yeah.
So the second thing is that we have the luminaire as a design object, obviously, but with precious materials. You know, with very, very nice finish, and you know the quality of. Oh, it's really there now.
The materiality.
The materiality of it. Also the invisible light, so to speak. You know, the glare control, everything is there, and also the preciousness of the materials are there. And also the customization of possibilities to actually customize a park luminaire now. Endless.
Yeah.
One more. I have to look at my phone.
That's a real good summary.
And also the smartness of things, the connectivity, you know, all that stuff is like, is there. So those 5 things. Was it 5?
Yeah, well, it was indeed.
Those are my views.
For me, I see a fantastic technology because now the light is dynamic, is move itself.
Yes.
And I see fantastic spectrum, very precise. In the past, it's a little one, no, like this. I see design, but I want tomorrow robot lighting, please. A robot intelligent, artificial intelligence. Light.
That's what we'll have tomorrow. That you need to invent that.
Yes, I agree with your point of view. What I can add, that probably today, in this kind of frame, we have to, okay, the design of the product,
Yeah.
but I am following now the intelligence of the product. I am following what I can do with this product.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
What I can do with the light of this product.
Yeah.
How I can manage this. This is the most exciting
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I think we've seen a lot more lighting solutions, whether it's one product or a set of products, but that are adaptable. So you can put one product in, multiple beams, zoom, dim. So the flexibility that you're getting now, it's as if we're finally seeing products with LEDs that are actually using the LEDs in the unique way that they can be used, rather than just
it's not
replacement.
a retrofit anymore. It's just,
not
it's
retrofit,
one
exactly.
thing, something new.
Yeah.
It's what we've been waiting
Yeah,
all this
absolutely.
time.
I mean, I feel like now it's you know, maybe we can slowly, you know, be on a plateau and, you know, just
Yes.
of course everything will go on, but you know, what to do with all this thing. This is why I think lighting designers, we are there to, you know, create the stuff,
Yes.
use the technology.
Do you, if somebody had not been to light building before, what advice would you give?
What advice if to not to the first timers? I would definitely go with don't drink any alcohol. You know, the first night. No, but you know, don't drink any alcohol. Drink tea. And a lot of my staff are actually following that rule. I mean, they don't drink anything. So that's like, to be precise, to be on top of things, and take one.
So Kai, there's your gin.
This is for Serena. No, and the second one should be that take one hole at a time. One hole at a time. Don't go run like you know, one hole at a time. And, yeah. That's my.
Really new and fantastic.
Yeah.
And always been for me an inspiration, this way. So if I can give some suggestions to check everywhere.
Yes, idea on idea, corner on corner. As possible, choose something new.
Yeah, I think that's
It's
really
not
good.
a problem of big manufacturing or little manufacturing. In the past, yes. No.
Now there's good stuff on everywhere.
Explore,
Yeah.
explore, find your way around.
Yeah.
Have you got a question?
No, I think that's really good. We should take a little break. Yeah, another little break and make sure our sound's working. Thank you.
You too.
That was such a nice chat.
And good light.
We are all on now. I think we're back again, and I think the audio is working again. I've got some levels. It looks okay.
Well, we've been really lucky because some of our viewers out there have been letting us know if the mics are working or if they're not. So hopefully, if anything technical goes wrong again, they'll let us know.
It looks like you're working. Yeah. So what are we doing now then, Sharon? Who's next?
We're going to talk to Martin Valentine over here.
I've heard of him.
I've heard of him. In fact, he's an old friend and colleague.
Yeah.
So, Martin, it'd be really nice to hear about sort of your journey in lighting. So perhaps like if you tell us, I know you started in design and now you have this new role at Ligman. Perhaps you could sort of tell us a little bit about
what were the steps in between?
Yeah, your first role.
This is about 30 years I've got to talk about now.
Yeah.
How long have we got?
In 5 minutes.
Okay, in 5 minutes, right. So I'm going through the industry to try and work on as many different aspects as possible. So lighting design practice, M&E consultancy, I've been a client, and now I've joined Ligman. So that's it. That's 30 years.
What's left?
What's left? Nothing's left. I'm not becoming a contractor. There's one step too far.
No, I can't think of something. I'm trying to think of something, but I can't.
Yeah, so expanding a bit. So I spent a lot of time in the UK as a lighting designer, over 20 years, and then a very unusual opportunity came my way, which was to become, and actually in their words, a lighting expert. Thank you. For Abu Dhabi municipality.
I think your job title was the best job title in the world that I've ever heard.
It's an official, recognised thing in the Middle East of expert. So I was a lighting expert, but there's no such thing as an expert, as we all know, because we're still learning.
It always made us laugh.
So the municipality had an idea of bringing in experts or senior advisors to cope with every single aspect of urban planning and city landscaping, desert experts and lighting experts. And I happened to be the first one they got. Yeah. And they wanted 33, and after 4 of us, they decided they had enough. That was it. So there's only 4 of us in there in the end.
But incredibly forward thinking, isn't it? To like look at a city and you're developing a city and you think, okay, I'm going to get one person responsible for lighting, and that's, it's brilliant. Every city should have one. Really.
And it's happened before. Johann Moritz as well, but it's tend to happen on some historic towns, some sort of valid reason for doing something. So this was a new city, a growing city, and there were very few standards. So it was interesting. But to do lighting, traditionally use engineers, manufacturers, but it was good to have a lighting designer look at the design aspects as well as the levels, the design, the technology, the fixtures, and everything else. So it was a 7-year journey from nothing to producing a handbook, new standards, lowering the light levels, improving the lighting quality, and it was done. It was done. It was implemented. It's a fight. You're dealing with committees and government, and in 7 years from nothing to produce standards, I think even rivals what you can do in Europe and the US as far as timescale. Yeah.
And so since then, you've moved on from that, and you're now at Ligman Lighting. So what's that about? What's your role? How did that happen?
The role, I'm Global Design Director. So Ligman is well known in various parts of the world, and certainly in the Middle East, where I became sort of knowledgeable about them. In the US, they're very well known. In Europe, less so, which is obviously my base. But Ligman is expanding. Ligman has a wish to improve the products, improve the relationship with the specifiers, light and design community, to get involved with education, teaching, and just really grow a profile. And in Europe, obviously, we open up new offices as well. So I've moved back from the desert to cold and wet, snowy UK, and I'm loving it, by the way. I don't know when it's going to wear off, but at the moment, I don't mind rain.
We don't know when winter's going to stop, do we? It's terrible.
No. Is there anything you miss about living in Abu Dhabi?
Anything I miss?
Yeah.
I miss the people. I do miss. It's actually really the people I work with were great. Even if it was speaking in Arabic, I seemed to manage to understand what was going on, because my Arabic is as good now as it was before I went to Abu Dhabi. But no, I don't miss some of the games, some of the tradition, contractor fights, relationships, but I'm glad now that my successor at the municipality and the designers the people doing on projects have at least a fair fight.
Yeah.
They have some power has been moved back to the designers, away from the contractors and agents, and there are standards which are protected, and there's freedom to design. There's not a pattern book to say this is how you do a road, this is how you do a park.
Yeah.
So it's hopefully, if we go back as a design role or a supply role, at least Ligman, anybody else, DPA, yourself, if you do projects there.
You never know.
You never know. And this is going, Abu Dhabi is going to grow by, it's going to treble in size over the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of other regions in the Middle East are the same. So we're all going to be involved there.
Have you got a question?
I've got a question.
I've got a question.
Go on, you go first then, as usual.
Let's see who's got the
It's
best
really,
question.
when you had one mic, it was easier. Now, now you can talk
Now
over.
we've got a microphone each.
Okay, my question is, over the last, over a certain amount of time, there's been a few lighting designers that have moved to working for a manufacturer in the sort of design role that you've got. What do you think that brings to the role? Because it's a thing, it's happened on a few occasions, so there must be a good reason for it.
Well, I think it's the same as going to municipality. If you are struggling on different sides of the table to understand what one party is saying to the other, and I've seen this with the good manufacturers and the bad manufacturers, as soon as you have someone who is a lighting designer who understands the needs, it's not about products, it's about achieving lighting design, then it can only help the manufacturers break through that door. And it's trust from a design practice. If a manufacturer works with them and doesn't try and jump around the back of the entire design team to get to someone who is placing orders, and obviously they're not generally going to be looking at producing what needs to be produced. So I think it's a model that not only municipalities should do, but the manufacturers as well. And you're right, a lot of my good friends, even from 7-10 years ago, there are some people that we know that have worked in some of the manufacturers for years, and they are one of us. And it doesn't really matter where they work. It's about they're saying the right things, they're standing up in the same events, saying, speaking the same language, and demanding the same changes.
Right, now you can do your question.
No, I can't now because yours was really good. Okay, last question.
I don't know what you were saying, but you were distracted.
I'm going to say what is.
Good.
Yeah, I'm going to say what are the next challenges for Ligman? So you've come back then, as you said, they're not very well known in Europe. So what's your challenges and aspirations for Ligman going now?
I mean, for me, it's getting involved with the right events, getting involved with some of the education programs, summits, sponsoring things, maybe looking down to the university level or even school level. I think just it's not about just saying about the products of a brand. It's about the association and trust, empathy. I had a difficult conversation just before I came on I was told you must sort out the lighting industry and I must sort out the way that figures are presented in catalogues, and all I can do is say, well, this is what we do and this is backed up. Doesn't necessarily mean I can make everybody, but maybe we can get involved with CIE and maybe or ISNA or the people that actually write the standards and get on those committees along with the design practices. So it's really just the association, and hopefully it's not just about the company or individuals. It can just be about the community coming together
and leading by example. I guess that's what you guys can do.
I hope so.
Yeah. Brilliant.
That was all really serious, though.
Oh, was it?
So why don't we just ask
some of our funny questions?
Let's talk about hilarious questions.
Hey.
We've been asking lots of people, what's your top tip for first-time visitors to Frankfurt?
And they've all said wear comfortable shoes.
They have. Kai said don't drink alcohol. It's a good tip.
Okay.
Yeah, while he was drinking gin.
Right, so I've got hard shoes on and I've got a G&T.
Okay.
Apart from that,
they're
anything
wrong.
else?
I think, well, it's the first time I've been here, as a manufacturer.
That's true.
The first time I've been not chained to a stand, and I thought it would be restrictive. I actually quite like it because I found you have to see everything. So when I came in the past, there's 20 halls, and I did my best to try and see everything I possibly could because I had the knowledge of what's available for the next 2 years.
Yes.
And it always stood me in good stead that I went back and I was
there's a long one over here, and then this one, and then there's that one. So, but you could just.
So that's this one. The one we use is that one. So you'll be on that one, and then we've got one up there.
So first of all,
That one.
not really. Not compared to what it could be. We'll get you to.
So you're going to give them a mic each?
Alright. Well, I need to start off. Are we going live? I'll get you to introduce yourselves. We're already live. We were live. All of that nonsense has gone out to the 6 people that are watching.
It may well have done.
My mother and no.
Unless that's because that's fallen
Ian,
out.
your drinks there.
Yeah.
Your water.
Let me
your
just
water. We've got 2 new guests with us now. We have Ian Ruxton and Mel Steers, and we'll get them to introduce themselves and say where they work, where they come from, what they do, and why they're here.
So I'm Mel Steers. I'm from Kandra Lighting, and it's been going now for 5 years. I used to work at BDP. I'm based in London.
Yeah, that'll do.
I'm Ian Ruxton from the Spears and Major, where I've been for far too long, having started working for Jonathan Spears in 1996.
You're not that old. Oh, come on.
I'm afraid I am.
You're not that old. Okay. Sorry, someone's just poked their tongue out at me. It's very off-putting. We're going to just have a sort of general chat about the kind of stuff you've been seeing at Light+Building and what you think about it. Ian, I know you'll be very honest, and Mel's got a special list to tell us about in a minute. Ooh. So, we've been talking about trends. Ian, what's your thought on trends this year?
Trends? Ooh. In sort of architectural lighting terms, lots of teeny little cylindrical spotlights, low voltage tracks, and magnets. Bloody everywhere. Loads of it. In technology terms, lots of Internet of Things, but nobody knows what it is or what to do with it. But actually one or 2 interesting people in that world. What else? Really bad slogans are in this year.
Yeah, you could give us some examples.
Some examples. Well, the human-centric lighting apparently that's finished. That was yesterday's thing. It's gone because there's somebody who's got enhanced human-centric lighting. It's obviously where it's at now.
We're launching super enhanced next week, aren't we?
Yeah, that's the next generation.
Mel, any thoughts on trends?
Sorry, here you go. Trends. Everyone's copying everybody, and but they're doing it maybe slightly better. So
the copy's better than the original.
Yeah, and even those who, the more sort of groundbreaking stuff that's been trending for a few years. The original companies are just doing it better this year, so I think it's a good thing.
And I would say a lot of that is in optics at the moment. Yeah. Optics is, if you be serious, optics is kind of one of the most interesting things at the moment. You know, everybody's kind of got the hang after 10 long years. You know, everybody's got the hang of the basics.
That time.
And actually, and kind of gone back to where the light goes. You know. Yeah. And over the last 2 or 3 years, we've started getting some of the tools back that we used to have that disappeared. You know, like for 5 years or more, you couldn't get a proper asymmetric floodlight. They didn't exist, and now they're back. You know, so this is all down to optics.
Actually, we were sort of saying that we've seen quite a few framing projectors.
Yeah, framing projectors
are
back.
Kind of
asymmetric floods are back. Double wall washers are back. All these things that you used to be able to get in the years of lamps. And that just disappeared in the early.
And now they're back.
And they're back,
Yay.
which is great. We like that.
I remember a really long explanation with Graham Large once about the double focus.
He loved the double focus, didn't he? Downlight,
oh,
the
double focus.
There are double focus.
I bet they don't have the depth of the original Urco one though, which was like the size of 2 heads put together.
Double focus is back as well. Yeah, all these old tools are coming back in new technology, which is great.
No one's really mentioned that, but that's true. If you come to look for something specific, or really?
So having my own company and it's based at home, to have all these people come and visit me with all of their samples would be an absolute nightmare. So this is like gold dust to me. Come here and to see everything working and installed and in different locations installations. So
That's good.
valuable.
I invite them to the coffee shop opposite Brockley Station. I'm always in there with someone with some samples. I had Elder Led came and did me a lecture on dimming the other week. Yeah, for an hour
Well,
in the local coffee
I
shop.
used to do that, and I've been banned from too.
You're banned.
They won't let
There's
me
that lady with the
with
lights.
the lights,
try
keep
the pub
blinding the baby.
Have you got your sights on something specific?
Not a specific thing as such, but I've always got my controls geek head on, so I've been very much looking at control stuff, particularly Bluetooth mesh, all that kind of thing, where that's going. Try and find out what's actually happening rather than the sort of second-hand bullshit you get from most people. So yeah, very much with that, and just always on the lookout for something unusual, because there is an awful lot of, as you said, copies of. They may be better, they may not be, but there's a lot of same.
Yeah.
But there's always a few gems. There's always a few real crackers somewhere, so you're always kind of looking for them.
So after this, when we finish, where should I go? What should I look at? Give me one thing.
Well, don't go to Hall 9. I just went there and I was nearly in Berlin.
Refer to it as Siberia.
Yeah, it's bloody miles away. It's just insane. I went there for a particular reason. What should you go and see? What if I particularly liked?
We had a really good tip from Lisa Ishii. She said Stanley, Stanley, the Japanese
Stanley, the
company.
Japanese guys.
They've got like a laser-based light source. It sounded fascinating.
That's gonna come though. It's already in the powerful video projection
Yes,
industry.
exactly.
People like Parker and
yeah,
so on, they use it.
laser projections.
It's basically it's phosphor, but they're exciting it with a laser instead of.
Stanley have allegedly got that in a sort of special VIP area at the back.
Right. Oh, I didn't see that. I just had
That was good plug. I've got some questions that are a little bit less sensible, but we get some good answers. So, most interesting person you might have bumped into? Or anyone interesting.
Interesting. I met a guy this morning who he's not exhibiting, although there's a few people who've got his thing as kind of proof of concept in their lights. He's invented a genuine invention, which is quite cool. He's invented an electrically variable diffuser using liquid crystals. So you get a little clear bit of glass, you pop it on the front of a fairly narrow light, like 10 degree or something like that, and then you apply a DC voltage to it, and if you turn the voltage up, it gets more diffuse. And your 10 degree obviously becomes a softer, wider beam out to about 60.
LED vents?
They may have it. So this guy isn't not exhibiting.
He's just wandering around with a suitcase or something.
Well, a few of them, I think Targetti have got it. It's a few of the guys in all three have got like one light with it in,
XAL have
XAL have got one. Yeah. Well, I met the guy who actually invented it. It's quite an interesting bloke.
Wow.
Have you bumped into anyone interesting? I didn't mean like friends.
I know everyone.
Okay.
That's another really
well,
good
it's all
reason
your
to come.
friends.
No, it's a good answer.
That is the best thing about coming in, isn't
Yeah.
it? All the people that
Yeah.
you meet, there's loads of people.
Best giveaway. Who's got the best giveaway? Mel. Mel's got some.
Yeah, I haven't really got any good giveaways.
Look at this bag.
Yeah.
How long did you have to queue?
I didn't.
Oh, well done.
If you know some people,
I
you
did
don't
wonder
need to
about
queue.
trying to hit somebody up
Yeah.
for that.
Wow.
You choose your colour of the main bag, then you choose the colour of each one of the 4 straps. Can all be different colours.
I did. There is
Very
a,
good. Waterproof. Sorry.
It's okay. There's a giveaway of sorts, which I haven't got it. They're going to send it to us because none of us wanted to carry it. But a company who I'm not going to name.
We've named all the other companies.
No, there's a
which is
reason
negative.
I'm
Okay.
not going to name it. I'm being fair to them. We had an issue recently where some spotlights on a project fell.
Okay.
They fell off their track adapters and bush in a busy retail environment, which is somewhat suboptimal, and anyway,
Not the best.
I'm not naming them, shaming them, because they've been totally great, and they've gone, we screwed up, we're going to fix it, and they're actually fixing it, and that's all good. So great. But they, as a joke, they made an accessory for this particular range and branded it up and everything, which is a hard hat.
And you didn't want to carry that around with you?
No, they're going to send it to the office. We couldn't be bothered carrying it.
Top tip.
Top tip, yeah, last question then. What is your top tip for somebody who's coming to Light+Building for the first time?
Apart from wearing comfortable shoes.
Apart from wearing comfortable shoes.
Number one.
had your post stand.
Don't accept the offer of a stand tour ever. Because you can't afford to spend half an hour on one stand, or you'll only see 10 stands in a day. So don't accept that. What I do, I've developed this about 4 or 5 Light and builds back, and I've been using it ever since, is you go on the stand, you find somebody, and you go, show me your 3 best things. That's all I want to see.
We say your one best thing.
Yeah, show me your 3 best things. And if they're all really, really good, I might let you have a 4th. You know?
Yeah, that's
and
a
then,
good one.
They stop for a few seconds, and they think, and they go, all right, in that case, and they show you the 3
He's
best
very
things.
generous. We literally said the other day, show us one thing. Yeah. You've probably got better attention span, really. Mel, top tip?
Stick with the shoes.
Just shoes.
The shoes.
Shoes. Very comfy
I think that's
shoes.
the number 1 tip.
Number one.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, both of you. We'll
Pleasure.
let you free.
A little pause.
Yeah, we will. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, everybody's up there. We'll take your picture. We are back now, though. Have you got your microphones turned on, or is it just me?
I have now.
Have you turned Chiara's on?
Hello.
Yeah, she's turned
Okay,
on.
so we are back. Our next guest is Chiara Chiarucci. Did I say that?
Carucci.
Chiarucci. An Italian living in Sweden. I mean, how weird must that be? Did it? Chiara, you wanted us to ask you about Barca.
Yeah,
Because you've got a lovely badge that says, ask me about Barca.
Yeah, we're super proud because this year there will be ILD and Light in Europe, and it's going to be in Barcelona. Super lot of fun, and I really look forward to meeting all my peers in Barcelona. Super high quality conferences and very good time together. So,
Are you part of the organising committee, or how are you involved?
No, just a volunteer. Every time we just try to strengthen the community, raise awareness of the profession, and get together in a good way. So, for example, just by sharing knowledge and maybe helping students, we always have the review of the portfolio for the students, and that's how you enhance the community and how you grow together.
Yeah. Well, you're an activist in Light, aren't you? We first met you in international. Well, it wasn't we first, but we met you International Year of Light. You basically made that happen for the lighting, architectural lighting community.
You invented it, didn't you?
You brought the architectural lighting community into that, which was fantastic.
That was real fun.
And you've been doing other stuff with the IALD?
Yeah, I mean, just the news of this morning, we established the Nordic chapter. That means that Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Estonia, and Denmark finally will have a chapter, and all together we'll organize activities and help each other in growing even.
How many designers do you think there are in that region?
I know for sure because they were all here today.
Oh, wow. Okay. How many?
And,
that's a good party.
Yeah, it was super fun. About 30 lighting designers from these 6 countries, and it was astonishing to see how happy were they. Many never met each other, many knew, but I mean there are not so many occasions we meet because every nation has its own like a light award or something.
Yeah.
And it's
like
like
lighting
a
day. You have like a lighting day, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's only one day per year, and there is no communication. They don't share so much.
And it took an Italian to bring all the Nordic communities together.
That's ironic, isn't it?
It is ironic.
How are you finding it living in Sweden?
Oh, it's very, very interesting. A few weeks ago, I had the chance to see the Northern Lights for the first.
Oh, how jealous are we?
Shouldn't I have to say that?
No, you could say that.
A few weeks ago, we went to Iceland, and the night before we arrived, they were amazing, and we missed them.
Yeah, we turned up the next day.
Missed them. Where did you see them?
I was actually in Tromsø in Norway.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was astonishing. And it's not only about Northern Lights. It's about you find halo like every day.
Yeah.
I mean, all the nature phenomena, like I don't know, sand dogs. I mean, name one. I've seen all of them at least once. It's just amazing, amazing. And all these shifts in daylight, color, quantity of daylight, and I mean all these shifts really affect the life of the people, of course, and therefore there is a certain sensitivity, sensibility, about light, but people do not really understand. So when you go and when you talk with them, especially architects, they're like, oh, yeah, I mean, I didn't think about it. Oh, and it's very simple things like, I don't know, but did you think of maybe you could put a light sensor close to a window, or so you got this modulation in the quantity of light during the day, because in summer, I mean, you don't really need the entire light in the office and so on. And they're like, yeah, it's gonna help. But it's also the normal people.
Yeah.
Just the normal people, they really do understand the importance of light once you get to share, once you get to talk with them.
About it.
Once.
If you could say, you've been here obviously the last couple of days, can you pick one thing you think people should go and see, or is that too difficult to pick one?
I've been But it sounds difficult. It's a bit
It is
difficult.
hard question.
It was very good, the Targetti stand.
Okay, we're going there tomorrow, aren't we? We've got an appointment there. So that's good to see.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
They really shifted.
Yeah.
It is really, really good.
So it's like a new company almost.
Sounds like.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Have you been to see anything at the Luminale?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because it was so cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to O'Reilly a bit earlier, so.
The traditional meeting place,
You're
O'Reilly's Bar.
the first person to mention it. Actually, no one's mentioned it yet, have they?
No.
Well,
So-
it was 20, 30 of us yesterday.
That's it, all the Nordic lighting
and we're
design
going back
community.
tonight, so everyone to O'Reilly tonight.
That's where it is.
Okay.
That's where the party's at then. Okay.
So
The Irish bar.
Tonight.
The Irish bar. Okay.
Kiara,
you.
thank you.
Yes.
That was really
Right.
nice chatting to you.
And if anyone else sees you, ask her
And
about
look,
what?
Ask me about
ask her
Barca.
about Barca. There you go, the right camera.
Thank you.
Oh, that was
Yeah, have a little sip. I think your mic's on. You talk now, Sharon, as well.
You're on. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, that's working. You're a professional, so you won't be able to hear it.
Right, so I know exactly how far the mic should be.
Yeah, exactly. Keep going. Don't worry about it. We're on that camera, but it doesn't really matter.
We've got our last guest of the day.
We have saved the best.
We've saved a little spot, a little 5-minute chat here. So we're going to ask you to introduce yourself and explain what you do, and so people know
what am I doing here?
Who you are, where you're from,
Sure.
etc.
That's a lot. That'll take up the whole 5 minutes. Then,
Excellent.
No, I'm Leela Shankar, and I'm based in New York. I'm here with a couple of hats on. So I was very lucky to be given an IALD student travel stipend to come here. There's 3 other students from around the world who have actually been helped to get here. But I also wear another hat with press, with Alumni Magazine, so covering a few different events and things happening around. And I am at Parsons, so there's a few Parsons people here, and
we were hoping Glenn was going to pop by later, weren't we? But
I haven't told him.
No.
We haven't seen him yet.
He was flying last night, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
does that mean are you going out to check out Luminali and have a look at some of the stuff?
Tonight. I haven't seen anything.
With lots of hats and gloves.
Hats.
It's probably not as cold as New York here, though, is it? Is it?
It was colder, actually. When we arrived, it was -4, but that's fine. There's more snow that's actually settling.
Yeah.
I'm going to brave it because I'm excited. I've seen the 2 different walks that you can do, and hopefully get to the northern walk tonight and see how.
Are there any pieces that you particularly want to see, or any artists? You have your.
Or you're just going to wander?
No, I just wonder. We don't really know what's going on this year, so I don't know if there's anyone sort of big names here or not.
No, there was a lot of it's in my other bag.
No worries.
Is it your first visit to Light+Building?
It's my second.
Second.
So I came in 2016, and it's still big.
Yeah, it certainly is, isn't it? It's phenomenal.
Possibly bigger, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
So I guess it feels like it's all about what bits you can plug into lighting.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed. Maybe less conversation about the quality of light or things that are allowing for a different quality of light, but looking at the infrastructure of light as a means
the background
to data
sort of connection. Yeah, definitely.
Which I think for lighting designers is a bit weird because it's a new different part to it that we may or may not be interested in, as well as interest. Right. It's really difficult with all these people. What I mean to say is that it's a sort of new area for us moving into, because we've previously just been working light, optics, etc., etc., and now we have all this sort of control, like really sophisticated control, or potentially sophisticated control, and it's like learning a bit of a new language for us, really, but it's pretty good. So
yeah, I'm curious about whether the fact that the light infrastructure is useful for other means, so tracking patterns and push notifications and plugging into an urban infrastructure, whether that means that we'll have more of a seat at the table because of our expertise, or whether we'll have less of a seat at the table because people who own the infrastructure will just use that for the original purposes, and then light is kind of they just stick that in.
Commodity on top of it.
Or maybe it's up to us to sort of try and drive that so that we want a seat at the table.
I think so. There's advocacy that has to happen. So
we've just seen another American designer who's headed straight for the bar. I'm going to go.
She was about to head over here.
I'm going to get her and bring her in. I'm going to bring her in.
We might as well get the whole of America in.
I'm going to bring Anne Metello in
US
to the conversation. So, have a seat and we'll get you a drink.
We'll get you a drink, Anne. Okay. We're throwing you straight on the air because we're finishing in 5 minutes. So we thought, hello.
I'd love to come in fashionably late.
Yes, well done.
Hi, I'm Leela, and nice to meet you.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Yes.
What would you like a drink?
Nothing alcoholic, but refreshing.
Something refreshing.
Okay, that's really good. We've been asking people what their tips are for first timers at Light+Building. And one guy sat down and he said, don't drink alcohol. That was his best tip for Light & Building. And just as he said it, someone passed him a gin and tonic
Well.
from the other side of the room.
I know, you can
What
try.
would your tip be for somebody?
Not to drink after 2 a.m.
After 2 a.m. What time do you start?
4:30 p.m.
Okay, that's good.
It's already time.
Oh, no.
I know, like,
That's good. Any tips from you, Layla, for the first timer? This is your second time.
this is the second time. Not exactly a veteran, but
We've had probably the most popular tip is wear comfortable shoes.
that's
Put
true.
your trainers on.
That's true.
There seems to be a bit of a debate between should you have a plan and you should go, I'm going there, there, and there, and have timed things, or should you just wander? So that's the debate that's going on as well.
I think a good mix. I think you got to get a few different punctuation points that keep you
Like lunch.
on track.
Lunch,
Yes, exactly.
afternoon drinks.
Right.
Parties in the evening.
I'm having a great time wandering.
Me
Yeah.
too.
I'm
Keeping it casual.
keeping it casual and having conversations I didn't know that I could have with booths that I wasn't expecting. So all the planning wouldn't have done me any good.
And you're having a much better time because of it.
Pardon?
You're having a much better time because of it.
But I am.
Yeah.
Actually.
That's what I like about Light & Building is you just see everybody
Yep.
in one space. And that's probably why we're doing this, isn't it?
Well, or we're not moving, and we're making people
Everyone
come
comes
to us.
to you. It's like,
Yeah.
That is the best tip. Just
I'm not
make
even
everyone come to
walking
you.
around the show. I'm just sitting here. Everyone to see us. But, we've been asking all sorts of weird questions. I think it's the end of the day, so we could probably ask some silly questions.
Good.
Who do you think's got the best snacks?
Well, I haven't been invited to many snacks because I don't have a name tag, and I'm purposely walking around by myself because I want the freedom of dragging with a group and blah blah blah, and I want to go where I want to go. So I'm sliding under the radar and not looking very important. So I'm not being open. I'm not being welcomed to the best snacks.
The
of the
snacks.
booth. No, I'm on the fringe. I'm in the Movenpick ice cream line. So I'm getting a hot dog. Whatever, because I'm not. I haven't been treated to the prosciuttos, etc. Thank you. See,
It's a non-alcoholic cocktail.
Yes,
this one.
yes. For sure.
See, this is the first offering I've had all day.
Oh.
Our top snack recommendation is the lamp stand. They've got beautiful Spanish ham.
Where is this?
They're in Hall 3.
Lamp is a Spanish company, and they are doing an activity on their stand. I think between 3 and 5:30.
That's right
I don't
now.
know. That doesn't
We should
matter.
all have to go.
That doesn't matter. We go tomorrow. But they always, we did something for them 2 years ago, and there's always you have to make something with light.
I
With a
remember.
big group of designers. It's quite cool, but then they have very good snacks.
I'm doing next. That's next.
That's next. Next step. Okay. Shall we end it for the day then? I think we're at our streaming limit. It cuts off. So, see you tomorrow. Thank you,
Thank
you
you.
two, for being our last and best guests of the day.